Like most of us, the garden is now starting to wind down through autumn into winter. So there's not as much happening as usual, but there's always something happening in the garden. A little recap if you're new to the channel. I planted a wildlife area in my garden a few years ago, and I couldn't believe how much wildlife it attracted. It's amazing to be part of, and I absolutely love it. But a surprising side effect is that it's helping me to heal from anxiety. Here's what's been happening in the garden this week. With around 40 to 50 sparrows hanging out in the garden most of the day, there's always a bird feeder drama. This poor sparrow that I'm about to show you was just happily tucking into some food, and another sparrow landed on his head, kicked him in the face, tipped him upside down, and then pecked him till he fell off. Serves the other bird right that he couldn't get a foothold on the bird feeder after that. So 2 new characters have shown up in the garden this week. My BirdNet app tells me they're dunnocks. I don't see much of them because they're quite flighty, but I can hear them. Welcome, Deirdre and Duncan. Talking of new birds in the garden, some really weird looking bird has landed on my garden table this week. He won't eat the bird seed, can't seem to fly. I don't know what breed he is. He is gorgeous though. One of my favourite and one of the friendliest birds in the garden, Mrs. Dave the female blackbird, has had a spectacular makeover this week. This is her earlier in the summer when she looked really scruffy and a bit sorry for herself when she did her annual moulting. Well, this is her now. Look at her. She's grown her winter feathers and she looks so sleek and so shiny. What a makeover. Mrs. Dave, you look fabulous. It suits you. I've recently become quite obsessed with filming the wildlife in slow motion. This is the first piece of footage I took of Fluffy the robin flying and landing on my hand in slow-mo. And I got to see so much I wouldn't normally see, like her flap and glide flying technique. And also the underside of her wings. I'd never seen them before. So I will be shooting a little bit more slow-mo in the coming weeks. Another new arrival in the garden this week has been this cheeky little monkey face, who I call the Black Shadow. Look at her checking the windows out to see if I can see her. This was shot on the night vision cam, and I see that the Black Shadow is eating most of Shakti the Hedgehog's food. So it's now time for my next garden project, which is to build a hedgehog feeding station. Sorry, Minxie, no more hedgehog food for you. You're going to have to go and find your food somewhere else. One of the things I've done to get the garden ready for winter is to put the paddling pool away. Marvin and I both spent a lot of time in this pool, especially during the heat wave this year. Sorry, my Marvin, you'll see it again in the spring. And as for me, I haven't managed to leave the house at all this week because my anxiety levels have just been too high. It's kind of a shame because the fair's on in town and I can hear the rides and I can smell the hot dogs, and even though it's just a few minutes from my front door, I can't quite manage to make it at the moment. In the past, I've got really upset about this, However, as somebody much cleverer and much wiser than me once said, when you accept what is and don't try and fight it, that's where you can find some peace. So that's what I'm doing right now, accepting that this is where I am right now. Luckily, I have the wildlife and the garden to keep me sane and happy.